All right, welcome to The Explainer. Today we are tackling, well, probably the biggest topic of all. We're diving into one of the most powerful, most confusing, and most fundamental forces in human life, love. I mean, think about it. It brings us our greatest, most profound joy, right? But it can also cause our deepest pain. It's this incredible paradox. So what is the deal with love, really? Let's try to unpack it.
So, to get our heads around this, we're going to look at it like a journey, kind of like climbing a mountain. We'll start at the base with the how. That's the biology, what's happening in our bodies. Then, we'll climb up to the why, the psychology that shapes how we connect. And finally, we'll get to the summit, the what for, the big philosophical purpose of it all.
Okay, let's start at the very foundation, the brain in love. We're talking about our biological hardware, what's literally firing off inside our skulls when we fall for someone.
You know, brain science kind of pulls back the curtain on the romance and shows us what's happening chemically, and it is intense. In that first rush of falling in love, your brain's reward pathway gets absolutely flooded with dopamine. In fact, studies show that just seeing a picture of your partner lights up the exact same parts of the brain as an addictive drug. Now that explains the high, the obsession, that feeling that you just can't get enough.
But you know, that crazy head over heels feeling, it doesn't last forever, right? And that's actually a good thing. Our brains are smart about this. As that initial dopamine high starts to level out, other chemicals take over to build something more lasting. We go from that initial passion, which is all dopamine, to a lasting attachment, which is fueled by oxytocin. You might know it as the cuddle hormone, and vasopressin. These are the chemicals that build security, trust, and a real commitment. It's a journey from pure euphoria to a feeling of home.
So when you boil it all down, what's this biological stuff for? Well, it's a super powerful survival mechanism. It's like our brains repurpose these ancient circuits for motivation to help us form adult bonds. You could really say that love is evolution's ingenious way to glue us together. It's what ensures we cooperate, connect, and, keep the species going. But that's just the hardware.
So what about the software running on that hardware? That brings us up the mountain to our psychological blueprint, the programming that really dictates how we love.
And a huge piece of this is something called attachment theory. Basically, our very first emotional connections, with our parents or caregivers, create what's called an internal working model. Just think of it like a subconscious blueprint, a hidden map for how all of our future relationships are going to work. If those early bonds were secure, you'll probably find intimacy more comfortable. If they weren't, you might find yourself repeating patterns of anxiety or avoidance without even knowing why.
So, does that mean we're just stuck with the script we were given as kids?
Absolutely not. This is where the philosopher Erich Fromm comes in with a game-changing idea. He really pushed back on this notion that love is just some magical thing you fall into. For him, love isn't just a feeling. It's an art that requires practice. It's an active skill, something you have to choose to get good at.
Okay, so if it's an art, how do you actually do it? Well, Fromm gave us 4 key ingredients. First, there's care, which is an active concern for the life and growth of the person you love. That naturally leads to responsibility, which is about really responding to their needs, both spoken and unspoken. Then comes respect, and this is huge. It's the ability to see them as they truly are, and not just as a projection of what you want them to be. And all of that is built on a foundation of knowledge, a real, deep, empathetic understanding of them. See? It's not just a feeling, it's a series of actions.
All right, we've talked hardware, we've talked software. Now we're at the summit of our journey. Beyond the chemicals, beyond our childhood patterns, what's the point of it all? What is love's ultimate purpose? What is it for?
And this is where things get really deep. For the ancient Greek philosopher Plato, love wasn't just about another person. It was a pathway to understanding everything. He called it the ladder of love. It starts on the bottom rung with the love of physical beauty, simple attraction. But then you start to climb. You learn to love a person's beautiful soul, their character. From there, you can learn to love beautiful ideas and knowledge itself. And if you keep climbing, you eventually reach the very top, the love of pure goodness and truth. For Plato, romantic love is just a first step on a ladder to something much, much bigger.
Now, Plato's student, Aristotle, he saw it a little differently, but it fits right in. While Plato's love, or eros, is all about climbing up towards some perfect ideal, Aristotle's love, or philia, is about two people helping each other grow, right here on Earth. He said the highest form of friendship is when two people inspire each other to become more virtuous, to become better versions of themselves together. So for both of them, love is this incredible engine for personal growth.
And this idea of growth through love, it can go even deeper, to a spiritual level. This brings us to a concept called agape. This is a totally unconditional, selfless kind of love. It's a spiritual connection so profound that the boundaries between me and you start to blur. The ego dissolves, and you feel a sense of unity that transcends your individual self.
Okay, so we've looked at this from 3 completely different angles: the biological, the psychological, and the philosophical. Wow. So how do they all fit together into one picture? Let's put it all together.
Let's just break it down really simply. Think of it like this. Our biology is the hardware, the machine that's built for connection and survival. Our psychology is the software, the program shaped by our past, but one that we can actively update and refine through practice. And philosophy? Well, that gives us the purpose. It's the why, the quest for growth and meaning. They're not competing ideas. They are one deeply interwoven system that makes love what it is.
You know, if you remember just one thing from our entire journey today, let it be this. Love isn't a lottery ticket you find on the street. It isn't something you just passively find. It is something you actively, consciously create. You build it, day by day, choice by choice. It's a continuous act of creation. It's a practice. So I'll leave you with a question to really think on. Based on all of this, what is one action, just one small thing, that you will take today to actively create love in your life?